going on, everybody? Yeah, if you can tell now that I'm finally doing some more videos that I am doing and participating in No Shave November. Been doing it the past couple of years. It's okay. I can kind of deal with facial hair and stuff and see how it goes. Hopefully I won't be looking like I belong on a wanted poster at the end of November. But yeah, so far it's not too bad, not too itchy. But getting into some of my teams here, some of the better stuff compared to the live video I did on Thursday. Yes, Duke did get a commitment from a 5-star player in the 2025 class, a small forward in Shelton Henderson. I mentioned him previously with the Nathan Kamenia. When they were able to get him and sign him the other day, or at least get his commitment, that he was pretty good friends with him, so that was a possibility because he did tweet about it and talk about it as well. So yeah, it's good to see that they were both joining the Brotherhood in 25, and hopefully they can bring a championship, because that's all he said in his interview, that he wants to win. So hoping that ends up going well for Duke later in that 2025 class too, once they are on campus. And then yeah, speaking of that class, yeah, they are the number one class right now with only those 4 guys already. So yeah, we'll see if they end up adding any more talented players to that 25 class. And then they did start off their season against Maine the other day. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, and got that victory 96-62 or 67. And then Concanupo, the freshman, had 22 points. Cooper Flagg, the other more talented freshman, had 18 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds. And I think he ended up going down towards the end of the game with a couple minutes left with some cramps. So luckily it was just that and not anything more serious with his hamstring or any other important leg muscle. So yeah, it was definitely escaped without any major injury there. And yes, they still got the victory. Pretty sure they play today as you're watching this, Friday or Saturday. So hopefully I will be able to talk about another victory at some point coming up soon. But yeah, it's great to see them finally get out there and look like a pretty good team overall, in my opinion. And then RJ Barrett, the ex-Duke player who's playing for Toronto, has been on a pretty nice tear past couple of games. Right before this, he did have a nice stretch of like 31 points, 33, and 31 points as well. And I think he's still continuing to play very well ever since they put up those numbers too. So yeah, he's having a pretty nice season, even though he came into it injured. But yes, luckily it's been going well. And even that rookie guard with the 76ers and Jared McCain did have a career high the other day with 19, so that was pretty cool to see as well. In the USC women's basketball side, we're in Paris playing against a top 20 team in Ole Miss, and we're barely able to get that victory 68-66. They definitely was like the last shot that Ole Miss almost made, but they were still able to capture that victory overseas and still be undefeated as of right now. And I believe both Juju Watkins and Kiki Iriafen went off in that first game. Juju had 27 points and 10 rebounds. Kiki had 22 points and 13 rebounds. It's the first time since 2010 where 2 teammates had a double-double to begin the season. So yeah, that was very cool to see, and hopefully they can continue to dominate on their way to the March Madness tournament. And then the men's basketball side, yes, they started off with Chattanooga earlier on this week and were able to get that victory 77-51. And they also beat Idaho State tonight on Thursday 75-67. So yeah, a little bit closer, even though it probably should not have been against Idaho State. Never really heard them tournament-wise or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm just glad they were able to not get upset and lose to a lower level team. And then that 5-star combo guard, Trey McKinney, looks like his commitment date is going to be on the 9th. So what is that, Saturday? So hopefully USC can get one of those top 5-star guys. They did lose out earlier this last week to that 5-star Darren Peterson, who's like a top 5 overall player in the 25 class. So yes, hopefully they can at least get one of these 5-star talented guys. And then there was also a top 139 overall center in Parker Jefferson. He did put out that he has a Final 2 and USC is part of that. And I think he did mention like a commitment date. I did not see the exact date, but hopefully get some more word, some more movement for this USC basketball side, especially in recruiting as well. And the Duke women's basketball side have started off the season 2-0 as well. They were able to beat in their first game Radford 89-36, and then they beat Liberty the other day 83-62. So yeah, congrats to them. Starting off strong, definitely very well-oiled team. A lot of great playmakers there. A lot of different people stepping up. So hopefully, like I always say, they can continue that once March comes around as well. And yes, the Chargers were able to beat the Browns on the road in Cleveland 27-10. Defense stepped up once again, keeping them out. I think it was like 20-3 or 27-3 entering into the fourth quarter at some point, and they gave up a late touchdown. But either way, the game was already in hand. That defense has been stepping up. I think they are like 5-3 on the season already. I want to say if the playoffs did start today, the Chargers would be like in 6th place, having to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I guess is okay. So they're a wild card team. That's at least something to build up and try to get up into the top 4. You're probably not going to get past, the Chiefs, but at least you could get maybe to the 5th spot and try to avoid them, maybe. But yeah, that defense is like right now like the number 1 team in least points allowed, which is pretty good, but still have like around 3 losses on your team. So you kind of wonder where's the middle ground there. But I guess it's right now because they're right around 500, if not a couple games ahead of it now. So I guess this is a pretty nice spot as of this second. And, they wanted to come into the season running the ball, and they did. And they got a couple wins here and there. But once they realized that they kind of had to abandon that a little bit more and let Justin Herbert throw the ball and show what he can do as one of those top quarterbacks in the league, as everybody says, then, it's kind of showing that it's been paying off. He's averaging like almost 300 yards passing, a couple touchdowns, and the running game is still working pretty good too with Dobbins. So either way, I think it's a good recipe right now, and hopefully they can beat the Titans this weekend as well and move up some of those wild card playoff spots. And then they did make a lot of transactions this last week or so heading into the weekend. I know they placed a couple guys on IR. I believe it was the linebacker Junior Colson and the wide receiver Simi Fehoko. They also signed wide receiver Jalen Reagor to the active roster. They did put the tight end Eric Tomlinson and linebacker Shaq Quarterman to the practice squad once again. And they released tight end McAllen Castles from the practice squad too. So, yeah, a lot of movement. I wonder if this was before or after some of the stuff that already had happened with those injuries. So maybe they're going to add some more guys. You never know, through the practice squad, or see what's out there available. Older type of players-wise that are on any NFL teams, or maybe sign somebody from a practice squad too, because they could still do that technically. So we'll see what ends up happening there. There was a really talented elite 2026 edge player in Rodney Dunham. He put Duke in his Final 8 recently. So yeah, usually I'm kind of updating about USC guys, but USC is kind of on the downward spiral with their season in the football wise, but Duke is still pretty good even though they lost that game this last weekend to Miami, but they were still in it with the top 4 team in the nation and had a chance to at least try to upset them. But at least like a lot of these top guys are still looking at them, so that's pretty cool. And I think even as of right now, the recruiting rankings according to On3 have USC at number 12 and Duke is like around 38 or something like that. So if they add a couple more high caliber 3 stars and some low end 4 stars too, they could probably push up to a top 25 team when it comes to recruiting rankings, at least the Duke side, and hopefully USC can push themselves back up into the top 10 as well. And the USC women's volleyball team recently beat the Washington School of the Big Ten now 3-1. So yeah, they pretty much have been cleaning up whoever the football team has played. I think they beat Rutgers. Who who USC football did beat too, but I think it was like Maryland and Michigan and a couple of other top schools that USC has lost to in the Big Ten. Now playing them, the women's volleyball side has at least been able to beat them. Yes, the men, they've had some struggles with injuries and kind of bad play calling and bad refereeing here and there, but I don't know. Hopefully they can use this bye week to get ready for the next weekend, and that is against Nebraska. So hoping for the best in that next game for them. And then, yes, sadly, I did mention in that live video that both the USC women's and Duke soccer side were pretty much number one teams in their tournaments and looking to face off against some good competition. But yes, sadly, they did lose that competition. I believe USC lost. Well, they were tied 1-1, I believe, and then they lost 0-3 on penalty kicks to Rutgers, which did suck, but that's fine. They'll be okay once the tournament comes around. And then also the Duke women's side did lose to their hated rival, North Carolina, 2-1 in regular time. So, yeah, both the top teams in their respective conferences go down, but there are also some pretty highly ranked teams when it comes to the overall rankings of women's college soccer. So I still think as long as they get the benefit of the doubt, they should be at least number one, number two seeds, maybe one more than the other. I think the USC, well, I don't know, because the soccer on the women's Duke side has been pretty good too. So maybe if both could be number one seeds, and that would be a lot easier for them to meet in the finals, and that would be a better matchup for myself compared to them meeting in the semifinals or some other rounds before then. So, yeah, hoping for the best, but yeah, sad they had to lose the last couple of days, but hopefully they can get ready to get back on track once they find out where they're going to be playing and who they will be playing on Monday coming up. So, yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.